maybe, you know, can I use this to draw one of the things that I normally like to teach? Now, I think I use the different level in, I hope I use the right in. Can I write here?
Can.
Okay.
Do you want me to clean it up?
No need, just a short, one triangle. This is one professor gave me this chart last time. Let me I'll put it on. That, for example, we say that there are, in the Bible, there are different level of practices that we do. We call this one absolute. Absolute mean, that is spelling right? Absolute, huh?
Okay, it's correct.
Absolute means what the Bible fundamentally teaches all of us have to believe. That we believe that Jesus came to this world, died on the cross for our sin. That is absolute. That Jesus came to die on the cross for our sin. That's absolute. The Ten Commandments is an absolute. You know? And God, for us, we believe that He's a triune God. God the Father, Son. These are all absolute. You get what I mean? There are things in the Bible we call it absolute. Okay? Then the second thing is that principles found in the Bible. And we say principles normally come out from the absolute. You know, be holy for I am holy. God is a holy God. It's an absolute. So what become principles for holiness and so on, our lifestyle, certain Bible principle that we know that, okay, we don't go and mingle with people who are doing something sinful and so on. But then we have to separate between what is holy, what is not holy, that we don't participate with the world. That idolatry, for example, we know is wrong. So that's why we got a principle, we don't bow down to idols. When we go to the funeral, we don't kneel down to our ancestors and so on, because these are connected with principles that thou shalt only worship one God. So we say that there are principles. Okay? Then we come to the third one. We call it, I'll call it tradition. Traditions. Now there are good tradition and bad tradition. So we use the absolute to test our traditions. We all have Indian also got their Indian traditions. Not all the traditions that Indian has are bad. You get what I mean? The Chinese also got our own Chinese tradition. But as long as these traditions don't conflict with the Bible principles, we accept it as part of our way we live our life. So if I go to India, I have to be very careful that I don't use my Chinese tradition to try to say your tradition is no good. I'll again your tradition. We all have tradition. Church also got tradition also.
Yeah.
So as long as the tradition don't violate the biblical principles and the absolute, I will accept it as part of the normal. Now, we know that some people question, there's something, I don't know whether you go through or not, about giving ang pao. Some churches they say cannot give ang pao. He says ang pao is Chinese, not consistent with the Bible. And they give their own reason why the ang pao cannot be given, and so on. But to me, I find it's okay. So nothing to worry about, you know, giving ang pao or don't giving ang pao. You don't want to give, don't give lah. But there is a certain traditions that comes around. Then what do we have? Call it conviction, personal conviction. It's a personal conviction. I put it top. Conviction,
C-I-C-T-I-O-N.
T-I-O-N, conviction. personal conviction, is it?
V-I-C-T-I-O-N.
Personal convictions. Now we all have our own personal conviction, and especially here, you don't have to impose it upon others. Okay, it's a personal conviction. Like you don't eat pork. You feel the Old Testament says eating pork is unclean. Okay, some people have that kind of conviction. You know, some churches feel that you cannot wear certain kind of clothing. And some people go to an extent that, okay, men only wear white. Ladies can wear colorful thing. For example, you know, wearing even can become a how to call it? Contention in some churches. Hairstyle also can become a contention. Okay? And some people have a personal conviction. But you want to keep your hair this way, fine. You know, last time there is one church, they believe that men supposed to shave their hair. The head of man is the glory. So women must cover their hair with veil and so on. That is their glory. You know? So they make it a way. Of course, these are convictions. And some churches, for example, if you go to the Brethren Church, still I think believe the same, that men sit on one side, ladies sit on one side.
Less, much less.
Now?
Much less.
Less now. They are allowed.
Only in Malaysia you still see a few practice that. Singapore,
Because-
I don't think there's any.
No,
church.
not the practice. But there was a time that the Brethren Church, ladies sit on one left, I think left side, the men sit on the right side. They cannot sit together. Okay, that's the Brethren. Long time ago,
Even
lah.
right now, my church praying also. Praying also, we cannot pray. Men cannot pray for lady. Lady cannot pray for men.
I think this one they do it more for the sake of.
To
That one is maybe
minimize
it's a rule to minimize molestation or whatever
Yes.
it is that happens. But some is a personal conviction. There's some church they don't believe in wearing jewelry. Even wedding ring also.
KC
not.
KC office.
You understand what I mean? Those are the cases. So these are the.
Yeah, I'll be home.
Right. If the higher it goes, the less.
Oh.
Don't make
Okay.
it become a rigid thing that you have to force people. Actually, from here onwards,
Okay.
you know, absolute and principle.
Okay.
I believe that these are the fundamental areas that we all have in common. Now, principle, for example, one biblical principle that I believe that is what the Bible teaches us. I think probably all of you here also believe that the body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Because of that, I don't smoke. I don't smoke not because of anything, but I feel that if this temple is not healthy, it cannot be glorifying to God. So the principle is I don't smoke because I believe the body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Biblical principles. But then, in this area, we find that I don't know Anglican today smoke or not, but early days the Presbyterian leadership also, some of them smoke cigarette also. So I go and tell you go to hell. So a lot of Baptists in Nagaland and also the pastors still smoke. So I used to say lah, you don't go to hell, but you go to heaven faster. For people who
But drinking, Methodist don't.
even drinking, for example, there's an area where principle why I don't drink, because also have to do with the body's the temple, it can affect my body, drugs and so on. I put it on that category. But yet in this area, those people who go and drink, you know, if they drink, and a lot of people cannot say that it's sinful for them to drink, because sometimes Paul told Timothy, you take wine for your stomach problem. But of course we don't use it as an excuse, okay, I drink because of health reason, actually don't need. But there are certain cases. So principle is not as strong as what?
Absolutely.
The absolute. The absolute.
And
You
how
cannot
about
bargain.
absolute? Is it called truth?
truth.
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 Truth, absolute.
I would say absolute truth. That means that biblical absolutes. Okay, and so we have this triangle. We live every day. We live. Actually, we have. So sometimes you think that you are what they call living right. Maybe your tradition is somewhere that maybe not very what they call still got some shade of gray there in the thing there. So this is where sometimes I will want to live more closer to this thing. But there are people who allow tradition even to rule over the absolute.
Yes.
You know, you work among Muslim. In Batam, for example, I've come to know several years ago. I come to know that the Batak Christian, many Batak Christians in Indonesia, their tradition is more binding than the Bible principles. Do you know that? Like for example, I have cases like the father himself is a pastor, but his son married, and because the daughter-in-law cannot produce a son, then is an encouragement for the father to tell the son, you go and marry, divorce your wife to go and marry. A case like this, because they want a son. So that means that they discard the Bible principles and even absolutes to do that. It happened, but they call themselves Christians. Okay, so sometimes when we do mission work, that we go to this other places, our confrontation is between absolutes and traditions. Jesus' time, the Pharisees were the people that comes against him because of traditions, tradition of men. You see. So that's where the battle goes up. But then we say that okay, there are certain things we accept as tradition that are more neutral, and we accept the tradition. I mean, the tradition in many ways are like only when we travel, we get to know other people, races and so on. We realize that certain traditions are okay, but certain tradition definitely is contradictory to the Bible. I mean, for Asian us, most of us, when we go into people's house, we take off our shoe, we go in Asian context. But when you go to America, then I realized that why they wear their shoe in, because the floor can be very cold. So you don't wear your shoe in, you know, you feel cold with your shoe off to walk into the house. So they have their tradition that normally you wipe your feet, your shoe, and then you go in to the house there. You know? But if they come to our house, sometimes they forget, they also wear their shoe in. But they say, how come funny you all take off your...
In Chinese, we normally, in a manner, we bow. Where there's a lot of argument about this. Japanese also like to bow. Bow each other. They will say we shouldn't.
So we make sure that these two parts here, these two are very well based in our life. So from there we look at traditions, we look at personal convictions. I put the word personal conviction there. Now you can eat meat. I don't eat meat. I like to eat vegetable. Keep it something, nothing to fight about. Yeah. Amen.